Well, this is our first Super Tuesday with Fred Thompson as a candidate. The Republican has been officially in the race for less than a month. The timing of Thompson's announcement was, of course, the subject of much debate. But now that he's in, how's he doing? Thompson took just 7% of the vote in the Michigan straw poll over the weekend, well behind Mitt Romney and John McCain. Joining me now is Republican strategist Joe Watkins, MSNBC political analyst Craig Crawford, and Newsweek White House correspondent Holly Bailey. Holly, let's begin with you because you've written a lot about Fred Thompson here. Has his entry into the race come with everything that he and his campaign were hoping for?
I'm not sure. I mean, they point to the polls, the national polls, which still show him #2 behind Giuliani and say he's doing great. But at the same time, on the campaign trail, he's had some flubs lately and has proven to be a little bit underwhelming. Over the weekend, I was reading one of the conservative blogs, Red State, which described his speech in Michigan as Bob Dole without the Viagra, which is pretty harsh. But, this is the problem that Fred Thompson had. He didn't have the sort of luxury that the other candidates had of sort of growing into the campaign and getting comfortable on the campaign trail. Instead he sort of just jumped in, and now the scrutiny is on.
And Joe, do you think that some of this, 7% was what he got in that Michigan straw poll. Is some of this because he waited so long and failed to build real excitement and momentum?
Yeah, and also it's money. This is where money comes in. You need money to get your message out to the voters. You need money to build a campaign staff, to respond to the negatives that other candidates throw at you, to be able to hone down your message and get it out across the state in order to get higher numbers. And this is where money comes in.
Craig, he's been called lazy at worst and lacking passion, fire, the gut for this presidential race at best. Does that matter? Do you think that the fact that he waited so long just helps support some of that criticism?
Well, the media has called him that, and the media has been pretty rough on him, portrayed him as, pretty much as a wet firecracker, all promise and no pop after his announcement, because I think a lot of us are ready to cover this campaign, want things to get started. But the working theory of his bid, we'll see how it pans out, but it might not be a bad one. Their thinking is voters don't really pay attention until later on, and even in Iowa, we've seen a lot of evidence over the years. They don't make final decisions until the last month or so.
Well, wait.
And so that's their theory of the campaign.
Let me ask Holly, because as I said, you've written about Thompson, so you're part of the media that have characterized him as such. Is that fair? Are you getting that from people who know him well?
Well, the question that we asked on our cover is, we said lazy like a fox. And, one of the first things that anybody said when he was thinking about getting into the race is he's too lazy, he doesn't have fire in the belly. But at the same time, if you look at him, it's really interesting. I've seen him up close as a retail campaigner. He's fantastic. But when he gets on stage, it's sort of like he locks up or something. And I wonder if, the fact that people have seen him in movies and seen him as Arthur Branch on Law & Order, if that really hasn't hurt him a bit.
Joe, where does he stand with evangelicals, the Christian right, who are so famous for pulling out support when candidates need it?
Well, some evangelicals have been very hard on him. James Dobson came out with a statement recently that was pretty direct, that said that Fred Thompson was not his candidate based on where Fred Thompson may stand or may not stand on some issues that are important. But I think Fred Thompson, again, has to this just underscores the fact that he has to raise money to get his message out, to let people know who he is, to where he stands on a whole host of issues. He is a common sense conservative. He is wonderful in one-to-ones with people. I think people are drawn to him. He's very charismatic. A little bit more lackluster on the trail.
Joe, Craig, Holly, thank y'all.
Thanks.